right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, guys, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh, and I'll be joined by Chris Mueller in a matter of moments, and there he is at the 93.7 The Fan Cam. Give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600. You know, August 29th, Bruno Mars, that's a Saturday. I can tell you one guy that won't be working here that day is Bob Pompiani. Bruno Mars is his favorite. I think he can sing every song.
Wait.
Pomp.
That Bob Pompiani?
That Bob Pompiani, I guarantee, will be front row at Bruno Mars August 29th, that Saturday.
I can't hate. There are several bangers in there, and my car I had playing Sabrina Carpenter possibly on the way up here, so I can't really hate on Bob.
I mean, I got to play Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift. That's because I have a 10 and a 11-year-old girl, so. You know,
the Sabrina Carpenter songs, you know it, Richie. They're catchy. They're catchy.
They are.
Some of the Taylor Swift songs are catchy. The Bruno Mars songs are catchy. You know what's really catchy right now? The new Steelers fight song, Rich.
Yeah. The Robert Wood
They had to replace
rendition.
it. They had to replace it because of Darnell Washington's broken arm. Roger Wood had the whole thing ready, and then Washington broke his arm. You could just see, or you could hear in your mind's ear, Washington's name being in there, but I thought he did a good job working around it, Rich.
How many times do you play that coming in and out of break on the PM show?
When they win, we typically will use, I want to say Steelers Polka to start. And then we'll probably throw the Roger Wood song on at least once, but it's because it's playoff football, Rich. There's actually going to be a home game with fans. I am gassed up. We're 4 days away, and I am gassed up for this.
Me
because
too.
I actually think they have a chance. I don't think this is like you're walking to the execution chamber, and there's Patrick Mahomes smiling at you like he's Kermit the Frog, voiced, or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, who's figured you out like he did last year, at least for that game. This feels like a real deal. Steelers are in a battle that they actually could win.
You know, I want to start the show with my prediction. I think the Steelers win. Take the money line. They're a 3-point underdog. I love the Steelers. I was over there at practice. I have a good feeling. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't know. But I think they're going to get over the hump, and I think they're going to win Monday night.
Well, I assume, without even asking you, that the reason that you feel that way is probably because C.J. Stroud, despite being a second overall pick and despite absolutely having his moments where he looks like a pretty darn good quarterback, does not strike the fear in your heart the way a Drake May would, a Josh Allen would, even a Justin Herbert behind a banged-up line would, or a prime Lamar or a Mahomes. Like, Stroud is good, but he is by no means a take-over-the-game kind of guy. I'm not there yet with you as far as, just take the money line and take these guys to win straight up. I said I think they can win. I certainly wouldn't be shocked if they did win, but I've also made it a habit to watch as much NFL, like start to finish, as humanly possible this year. That means occasionally, Rich, going back and actually watching random games involving other teams. I've seen the Texans on TV a lot. I've seen their games a lot. They are unbelievably violent on defense. It's not just that they're good, it's that they make you pay a toll for every yard. In that way, they remind me of like the 2008 Steelers defense. They are fast, they are aggressive, they know what they're capable of, they know what they're good at, they stick to what they're good at. I frankly think that this is Mike Tomlin playing a team that's like the better version, mirror image of his own. Younger quarterback, a head coach that's pretty new on the job but has a lot of the same philosophies, that was a linebacker, it was a tough guy player, and then they've got great edge rushers and great corners, and they don't, as Mike said, what did he say, Rich? They're not splitting the atom schematically because they don't have to. I mean, I think in Mike's perfect world, he would love to just turn loose guys who are simply better than the dudes trying to block them.
You know, that's a great point and a great analogy by you. They are a better version of what the Steelers are on defense and what the Steelers want to be and what the Steelers thought they would be. But I think it's a favorable matchup for the Steelers because Aaron Rodgers can get the ball out fast. They've played defenses that were aggressive, that have great rushers. And, you know, the only thing that worries me is I was in Houston a few years ago for that loss. And, you know, I keep seeing Stroud to Nico Collins, it seemed like every play for 1,000,000 yards. And, you know, I'd imagine that, looking at the stats this year and looking at what the Steelers done, it's quietly Joey Porter Jr. has been a pretty good cornerback this year. And if he's matched up with Collins, I think the Steelers, what I'm getting to the long way here is I think the Steelers could potentially outscore the Houston offense.
Well, I don't think Houston's going to be able to move the ball with regularity on the Steelers. They're terrible at running it. I think they are 29th in the league or 30th in yards per attempt on the ground, so they're not good at that. They're not efficient at that. They try to do it, like any team with a good defense should. They try to limit the possessions in a game, especially once they get a lead. Nico Collins is a physical wide receiver. He's a bigger guy. The Steelers drafted Joey Porter Jr. to go against bigger, more physical wide receivers. He's obviously had a very, as you put it, like a quietly very good year. Some of the penalties early in the year have dissipated. He hasn't allowed a touchdown in coverage since, 2023. So I think that's a matchup that he could certainly hold his own in. I do have concerns, Rich, and I know we got to take a break so we could talk about these coming up, but Jalen Ramsey was supposed to be this guy who steadied the back end. Kyle Duggar had steadied the back end of that defense. Duggar the last 2 games has been really bad, and Ramsey got absolutely torched by the Ravens. So I do think there are some concerns to be had about the way that team looks on the back end right now with the safety position.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, but we got to take a break. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night. This is from Sportsnet Pittsburgh, Ryan O'Hearn. Ready to make an impact in Pittsburgh. He said, I did my research before I made my decision. The Pirates just seem like 1 or 2 pieces away from being a legit contender. Chris, do you buy this?
I think they probably are like 1 or 2 legit pieces away still, and that's the problem. O'Hearn might have seen himself as one of those legit pieces, and he's a nice piece, and trading for Brandon Lau I think is good too. I think their lineup, by any stretch of the imagination, and Mangum too from Tampa I think is going to make an impact. I think by any stretch of the imagination, they have a more legitimate-looking lineup at the major league level. Like, it looks like a real lineup now. You put those guys in there, you put Reynolds in there and Cruz in there with them. You start to look around and you say, okay, there aren't as many holes in this lineup. There's not like this
third base is a big hole
last year.
I think a back-end reliever right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried as much about the relievers and stuff just because you can kind of cobble that together. I like their starting pitching. I hate Triolo being your starting third baseman because he gives you no offense, even though it's an elite glove. Eugenio Suarez is somebody I'd still be interested in. Okamoto would have been nice. I think there's like some truth to what O'Hearn says, Rich, but that's also one of those situations. He's at an introductory press conference, and like the real truth is in the fine print, and it's, hey, the Pirates made me an offer that my agent and I liked and thought was competitive with anything else we'd get on the open market. And so I think that's probably why he's here. But they absolutely have made their lineup better, but to me, they're still an obvious bat away from being like a team that you would take seriously. In fact, I know this came out earlier today, the first early win total for them, over-under, was released. Do you want to know what it was, Rich? Are you aware of what it was?
I don't want to know. Look, I'm going to guess. I do want to know what it is, but I would say 78.5.
Got to go down.
Seriously, down. 76.
Try again. Try again. They never go full numbers.
75.5.
74.5, Rich.
74.5. That's worse than last year.
The
money that you win from the money that you win from the money line on Monday night, take that money and put it on the Pirates over. I'm the biggest homer ever.
I got bad news for you, Rich. Andrew Filipponi said he might put $10,000 on over 74.5, but that's to make up for a bet he lost after immediately graduating college. He took the $10,000 he was given by his family as a graduation gift and said he could make more money betting on baseball than investing it. He promptly bet the Seattle Mariners, I think, 2008 over win total, and that thing was dead by June. He said. So I'm just saying he likes over 74.5 as well, but they still need some other bat in that lineup, I think, to be an actual playoff contender. And frankly, I don't think they're going to get one. I think, you know what I think they hope, Rich? I think they hope Connor Griffin's that bat.
And maybe he is, but the problem, 1 or 2 pieces away, it's like $125 million a year bat. And that's something that the Pirates aren't going to go out and get. All right, and that's someone that's not available right now, too, unless you trade for that person. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We got John out in Butler. How you doing, John?
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
I have a comment. I wanted to know, what do you think the Steelers would be where they're at right now without the good play of their tight ends?
No, I mean, Darnell Washington made some big, important plays along the way. Look at what Pat Freiermuth did. I mean, he made big plays in 2 losses, but he was a big component of that win last week. I think they should utilize him more. Jonnu Smith had some nice plays. Do I think they would be where they are without those tight ends? I would say no, but they use them a lot.
I can answer this emphatically, Rich. The answer, no, they wouldn't be where they are. Freiermuth has made some big catches down the stretch in games that have obviously helped turn outcomes for them. I don't think Jonnu's done much of anything. I mean, he's had a couple, like you said, 1 or 2 nice
Miami had a good game. I don't think early in the season.
He and Rodgers do not. He and Rodgers do not click. Rodgers missed him badly against the Ravens when he was wide open. That could have loomed as a big missed play. But Washington's the guy here that answers the question. No, they would not be in nearly as good a shape without him, especially. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I'll just summarize by saying things like EPA per play, like how efficient are you? Success rate, which is another kind of, hey, are you a good, steady, efficient offense that moves the ball positively more often than not? When Darnell Washington's out there, the Steelers are like favorable, I think, especially in the running game, with the LA Rams in those departments. When he's not on the field, they're like the Arizona Cardinals in the same categories. So, like, that kind of tells you all you need to know about what they've been able to do to weaponize him as both a pass catcher, but especially a blocker. So, no, if they didn't have him, specifically Washington, but also Pat Freiermuth, they would not be in the playoffs, I don't think.
All right, back to the phone lines. We got Mark out in Pittsburgh. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, should we be concerned? Remember in Detroit, Boeing that kept the game at 5 points? We almost lost that game.
Yeah.
And he missed the extra point. We almost lost that game. Do we have to be worried?
No, I'm not worried. Chris, are you worried? I think that ball was tipped. I mean, it actually said that – I think Chris actually said that someone got a hand on it because no way it would move 20 yards like that. So I do think someone – I mean, you see golf balls move like that. If you hit a leaf or something, I think there was a hand on that ball.
I think it was more like a finger that got enough of the ball to maybe change the spin. The Detroit one's a little weird because that's a closed roof, climate controlled. My God, can't talk tonight. Climate controlled stadium, and he just biffed it. He did crush a 57-yarder at Acrisure against the Ravens that was right down the heart. So, no, I mean, in balance, it's weird to see a guy who's been so automatic miss a couple in a relatively short span of time. And then he also was short in Cleveland on a long attempt. But, I mean, in the biggest game of the year, he still drilled one from almost 60 yards that probably had 5 yards to spare and was literally right down the middle. So, no, I am not concerned.
Yeah, he made 90 straight extra points. I'm not concerned either. I mean, he's been the steadiest kicker in football the last couple of years, so not concerned at all. Let's go out to Terry in New Salem. How you doing, Terry?
Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of you guys for a while, all week long.
Well, I'm glad you called, Terry. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse because I wanted to talk about this sooner. But I think Boswell missing that extra point helped the Steelers in a way, kind of hypothetically, because if they're up 3 points, I think Baltimore plays that last series completely different. I think they try to get in the end zone, and I had no faith in the Steelers keeping them out of the end zone to win the game. Instead, they played it close to their vest and tried to kick the field goal. If not, if they were...
Well, Terry, I kind of disagree, to be honest with you. I disagree because I think in that situation, if you're down 3, I think most teams are predisposed to say we're going to try to get the field goal. I mean, they might have called timeout and tried to get closer for a couple of shots, but I still think Harbaugh would have mentally been playing for a field goal. I think it's been proven, and this is just what I've read in these kind of little game theory studies, that when a team is like down 4, obviously, they're going to have to go for the touchdown, but like different deficits and different ways of gaming out, like the last 2 minutes of a football game, frequently change how aggressive or not aggressive a team gets. I think going for 3 versus only needing 3 to win versus needing 3 to tie did not appreciably change Baltimore's mentality. I still think, by the way, I guess to Terry's other point here on the side, John Harbaugh doesn't have a job now in part because he just decided 44 yards middle of the field was good enough. They absolutely should have tried to at least get closer. They had the timeouts to run one more play at least. And then maybe if you get a big chunk, you call one of those timeouts and take one shot at the end zone. Well, not really, but you could have if you really wanted to get greedy. But the fact that he didn't try to make that like a 37-yard field goal mainly is an insane thing that he did that cost him his job in the end.
Lamar Jackson actually moved it over to the right, and if they would have just kicked the field goal there on third down, it probably would have gone in. But, you know, no matter what, he missed a 44-yarder. So they were in field goal range. I disagree with it because, you know, at least with a 3 or 2 point lead, you're playing your regular defense. You know, in Detroit, you saw they get back into that prevent type thing, and then all of a sudden they're picking apart that defense and running right down the field.
I think that's I'll say quickly, I think that's a good point. I do think teams are like, well, we'll make them use time to get into the red zone, and then we'll try to bow up if we're up 4 and prevent the touchdown. But I think you're right. The Steelers did play regular defense, but it was also a great play by Likely and Jackson to even get them into that position.
And not a great play by Jalen Ramsey, who should have knocked that ball out of his hands.
No.
All right, big win by the Penguins tonight. 4-1. Evgeny Malkin scores in his return game. Are you a buyer right now? They're 6 points back up. First place in the Eastern Conference with 2 games in hand.
Yeah, they look like a new team after that little break over the holidays, Rich. I mean, they were reeling. They had blown so many of those third-period leads to the point where it was becoming, like, historic. They were losing so many extra points because they were so terrible in shootouts. But they have come out of the break roaring. They passed the eye test, too, for me. What they did to Detroit on the second game of that home-and-home was just unbelievable. They look like, at worst, a team that'll be right on the edge of the playoffs and probably in. So count me as pleasantly surprised that they have surged like this after that swoon they were going through.
Me too. No time left. Do you like the Steelers? Real quick. You giving us a prediction? No.
Texans 16, Steelers 13.
We're out of here. Thanks a lot, Chris. See you next week. Hopefully we see you on KDK News right now.